Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Think Tank Sports. Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen. Check us out on the socials: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen to us on Anchor or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and watch us on YouTube. People seem to like us on YouTube, and I don't know why, but it's somehow working out to, I don't know, attractive middle-aged men in upstate New York seems to draw people in. I don't know what to and then the guy from Colorado every week. So,
Right.
anyways,
Steve is definitely the draw.
yeah, Steve is definitely the draw. It is not the two of us. Anyways, as you
Yeah.
can see, Mike and I both have our Yankees hats on because it's a happy day in Yankee land after a stressful time. So it's Wednesday, stressful time on Tuesday. We'll get to that in a second. So we're going to talk some Yankees, Aaron Judge, and all of that kind of stuff. But first, Mike, how the heck are you?
Dave, I'm doing good up here in actually balmy today, upstate New York, 55. I think it hit on the thermometer outside.
Oh yeah.
There's our weekly weather report here from the Albany area. No, we're doing good, buddy. I am excited to have Aaron Judge back, and I've definitely waffled on both sides of the issue. Oh my, sorry, puberty's kicking in, my voice cracked there. Um,
I was thinking about waffles when you said that.
nice, nice. Um, Chocolate chip waffles with syrup, too much, too sweet for me. And
Yeah, I look at we
look
are
at who you're
off
talking to.
off to a
Yeah.
great start. That is
All right.
shocking to me that you would say chocolate chips and waffles and syrup is too sweet. I'm
Too much.
stunned. The
And
kids
if
are
they
the
put the
kids
whipped
are going to
cream on the
say they don't
top,
even
it's
know who you
over.
are anymore.
No, it's fair. Hopefully, good thing I have a diabetic keg of insulin in the truck, so we're good. Anyway, I was on
Wow.
either side of this issue through the contract negotiations. We're going to pay him too much. We're going to pay him too many years. Turns out we did that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I am happy. If you're not going to sign Aaron Judge, who are you going to sign? Homegrown talent up through the system, a little bit of a late bloomer, but not only had one of the greatest seasons in Major League history, carried a team at times that desperately needed to be carried, has done everything you ask: center field, right field. I'll go on and on. That's the guy you signed. Yeah, did we overpay? Yes, we overpaid, but we're the Yankees. We complain about being cheap when it comes to the luxury tax, but these are the kind of contracts that they can negotiate buyouts on and pay off later. See A-Rod and Kevin Brown and all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm missing a bunch of others, but the point is, ultimately, I'm happy that this happened. You, Dave, were you always on sign him, or what were your thoughts going in?
Yeah, I mean, I think they had to sign him um, any which way. Uh, it would have been an absolute disaster if they didn't sign him, especially considering yesterday when we got the news that Brian Cashman had been extended for 4 more years.
Yeah.
The Yankee fan base
Do you want
would
to talk about
have.
that now, or you want to continue your
I
thought?
will just continue on my little spiel
Okay,
here, but
go ahead.
Yankee fans, I mean, they would have just rioted if they had re-signed Brian Cashman and not re-signed
Judge.
Judge. So uh, there's that. I'm not crazy about 9 years. I get that they needed to sign him and he wanted all the money, and the Yankees have it. It's not that they don't. Um, I myself wouldn't have gone more than 8. I mean, when you think about him being 39, there's not a ton of players that are super productive at 39, but you're not paying him right now. You're not signing him for his production at age 39. Um, just be happy that they didn't do 10 years and 400 million like the Padres offered. That would have been utterly ridiculous. And I'm glad that he did not do that in San Diego. So I'm happy. I was never of the mindset to let him go. I just think not that they'd be starting over, but then you go, where's your focus from an
Right.
offensive perspective?
Well,
And I think that would be maybe a lot of changes.
absolutely. So quickly on the Cashman thing, I think this is the last contract Cashman gets. This is your core players. Dominguez is your last great draft choice. If he comes up and he's a stud and Volpe, and you can win a championship or two in the next 4 years, maybe we can talk. But this is gotta be, and maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part. Although I'm not as much of a Cashman hater as most. He certainly has his flaws, and I don't know who you're going to get that's better at this point. But
no, I think that's completely fair.
So you get the Cashman signing and Judge together. I think you hit it right on the head. They're handcuffed together. Also, don't you think they said to Judge, listen, we'll give you the 9 years. We don't want to do the 9 years. We'll do the 9 years because we're salt of the earth. We'll make you the captain. That's coming next. That'll finish it off. But we can't give you 400 million. We'll give you 360. You give us a little bit of a discount. We'll give you the years, and the captaincy will be the vig we have to pay, for that reduction. Because you're right. I mean, San Diego made a heck of an offer. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? So, a heck of an offer.
Yeah. No, I think, and from what we've seen on the social media today, it appears that is the case, that the Yankees have every intention of making him the captain. I would think, given the late night call with Hal Steinbrenner while he was in Italy late last night, that probably was part of the negotiations. I from a Yankees perspective, you've got to have some sort of carrot. And I think the captaincy was the carrot that the other places just couldn't offer as far as that goes. So I think you're spot on there.
Speaking of urgency to sign him, do you think the Jon Heyman erroneous report that he had signed with the Giants, and I had a funny reaction in the household to that. I came out and told my wife and my daughter, who were casual Judge fans, but during the home run chase really got enthralled with him in particular because I guess he's attractive. I don't see that, but some people might say so.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He's caked up in the back end. Anyway, they were not verge of tears, and it was bad enough. My wife's not here yet. I'm getting my wife a Judge jersey for Christmas, and I hadn't pressed order yet because I was waiting, and I canceled the order. I had it in the cart. I took it out of the cart.
Yeah, and that's
fair.
That
little news pocket. I got it back today. But no big deal.
You paid twice as much, but that's okay.
Probably.
Just like the Yankees.
Right. So where do you think the Heyman mistake affect these negotiations and the urgency at all? Two, will affect Heyman's career long term. Short term, he's getting just bodied on Twitter and any other social media, and he'll be a meme for a while.
Yeah,
you're just gonna have to learn to accept that.
Long time.
But is he connected enough and deep enough in the roots of Major League Baseball that he'll still be around MLB TV? Maybe he does 3 hits a week instead of 4.
Yeah,
something like that.
I think it's hard. I saw tweets from other media folks saying, "Hey, this is." This is the environment. There's times that you're gonna, make mistakes and do things, and it happens to everybody. And these people, calling for his head. Maybe that's a little bit much. Right. But folks, if you're not familiar, so Jon Heyman is a writer, covers Major League Baseball, and tweets out, Arson Judge looks like he's going to the Giants. So not only does he tweet out information, which apparently, he had a source, but it was wrong. And then he had to retract it very quickly. I believe it's 7 minutes, right? That's what they've said. Right. And then he says Arson Judge. So, you can only imagine if you go on anywhere and search up Arson Judge, there's now t-shirts with Judge with a building burning in the background. And
see what the Yankees do under their jerseys this year with that, or something that usually organically appears for them to put on a t-shirt. For what's that memorabilia company that they do business with?
Steiner
Sports, right?
Steiner Sports. Yeah.
Steiner, not
Yeah.
Steinbrenner. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
The Go
yeah,
ahead.
I think, Heyman's going to take his lumps here like anybody else is, but I think he'll probably be fine. Back to your first question about did it move negotiations? We'll never know. I have to believe, though, that it definitely put some pressure on because, hey, now the reports are out there. It gets, I mean, it went into the media and just exploded in both directions. First with he's going to the Giants, and then the retraction. I think that definitely, I mean, I had texted you and Steve last night, like something's got to happen now. Something's got to give because now
Right.
everybody's on edge. And maybe the Yankee, maybe Cashman and Steinbrenner weren't, but I have to think that they were a little, that they were in tune with that.
I
And that
think
played
it, right. We
somewhat of a
talked.
factor. But remember, Judge uh, came down to the winter meetings, so he was there. So I
Right.
think that had some urgency to it as well. But
Definitely a man of his word, it seems like, in honesty, and that would mean a lot, in that relationship. That if Judge had not told them yet, then they still, probably had a good idea where he was.
yes,
But still, you talk about, sphincter tightening a little bit, buddy. I mean, that tweet comes across from John Heyman, and there's some unhappy people in New York and in Tampa. So, very interesting. Here's the projected lineup for 2023, Dave. Tell me
okay.
where we're weak. Harrison Bader, Aaron Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Gleyber Torres, Donaldson, Oswaldo Cabrera, IKF, and Trevino catcher. Where would you like to see something change, something different?
Oh, I mean,
Um,
it's Donaldson. I mean, it's
yeah,
definitely Donaldson.
but
Um,
we are locked this year, right? There's no,
yeah, I don't, and
I
you
mean,
didn't say
unless there's
anything.
a
I
total
didn't hear
sucker
you say
somewhere.
LeMahieu, right?
No, not as a starter.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
think that's the interesting piece is
I wonder how hurt he really is, to be
do
honest.
they platoon Donaldson and LeMahieu at third? Um, and LeMahieu spells Rizzo at first.
Right.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, so they got
it's
Glaber at
still
second. Yeah,
I mean, I like Glaber. I do.
yeah,
It's still a
me too.
good
I don't want to
lineup.
keep him.
I think again, we saw them do more things than just hit home runs, even though they did hit a lot. They did a lot of different things this last year.
Got way
Um,
more athletic, especially when the young kids came up.
right.
Way
And
more
and
athletic.
so
And don't forget,
you have
Benintendi
that.
still quite possible. Speaking of athletics, so that there's another outfielder.
Yep.
Um,
So I mean, those are the things they still need to focus on that. Now, the other piece to think about is with the shift happening, some of these Yankee guys who, they just
the
go
shift not
crazy and they hit
happening.
into the shift, right? You can't do the shift anymore. That's going to help averages all the way around. The bases, the stealing, and we've talked about this. It's going to be a very different game. And
Yep.
so, to say that the same Yankee lineup is going to have the same issues, I don't think you can say that 100% because we just haven't seen what we think the impact is going to be on the game with these changes.
Yeah, very, very true. Salient and deep points by you as usual. The only other thing we should touch on real quick in Yankee land, we know they need starting pitching. We're not going to touch that today, I don't think, because it's just an incomplete right now.
Well, but
But
we
in that,
know that Jameson Tyone
that's what I was
signed
going to say.
the
Yeah.
4-year deal with the Cubs today.
So we
So
know there's a slot
he's
open in the rotation, at least one.
at least one. Yep. And
Yeah.
so what is that? Is that geez, I was going to say Michael King, but he was so dominating out of the bullpen.
Oh yeah, he's
I
got to
don't
go
think
back.
they try to stretch him back into a starter.
No.
Um, the Carlos Rodon name is out there.
Yeah.
Left-handed. He's 30. He's younger than, some of the other guys, Verlander that were out there, at age 40. I think a lot of Yankee fans would like to see him come to New York and be that, great lefty starter along with Nestor. That would be great. challenge for me. He's injured a lot, so that worries me a bit.
Of course. All right, Dave. I got one more thing, and then you can wrap it up. I want to make sure any Met fans out there want to lean in real close because you need to shut up. When the Yankees didn't sign Judge when he was going to the Giants, you called us, a poor organization, low rent, low class. I saw all the Twitter stuff. And then as soon as we signed him and the course reversed itself, you couldn't wait to say, oh, it's too many years and you're so stupid for giving those many years. You just signed a 39-year-old starting power pitcher to pair with your 38-year-old starting power pitcher, who are both have had severe injuries in the past and don't throw a style that would lead them into a long season. And watched the GM of your organization. I mean, who's been a better Met in the history of Mets at pitching? Doc Gooden, maybe. You could probably argue the numbers. I don't know them off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, Tom
Bottom
Seaver.
line is DeGrom walks. You say you got these big pockets. Uncle Stevie's in town and he's going to pay everybody. Shut up, because your best player, maybe in the history of your franchise, just went to Texas, and you got a pair of septuagenarians starting off on your rotation. End of rant, David, if you would wrap it up.
Yep, I completely agree. I can see why the Mets did sign Verlander. I get it; they had to do something. But when you look at Scherzer and how he has faded, and it isn't just last year. I mean, he has faded in the regular season multiple years. He got bombed in Atlanta, when they really needed him. They needed one game, to be the difference between being in the wild card series and being the division champ. And he bombed out. DeGrom bombed out too.
Right.
So I get it. But yeah, the Met fans, they do need to shut up as far as that goes, because we signed our best player and you did not.
Right.
So,
and I hating on Verlander. He's the kind of guy I would love to root for and I respect, like Jack Morris and all those guys, Dave Stewart. And he's just been on teams that I have to hate because they're playing him. You know what I mean? Or because of where he is. He would have been a great Yankee. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. For sure. I'm glad they didn't sign him, because having another Astro on the team, it's a lot. We already have two, and that's difficult enough. But anyways, so there's our little rant on Yankees, and just dumped on the Astros just for fun there at the end, because you have to, because they're the Astros.
But they're a daddy.
But yes, and of course, all of the deal with Aaron Judge and John Heyman, just a crazy 24 hours for Yankee fans, for Giant fans. I actually did hear somebody call in today to Mad Dog from San Francisco and said that the fans there are very angry. And he said there was a lot of celebration when John Heyman's tweet came out, and then it came out, and then Judge gets signed. He said they're very angry out there. And said if they don't go out and get a big splash, because that's a big splash player, because that's like Correa, right? Because their ownership and their management has said everything's on the table. Nobody's out of our range. He said that they're going to run him out of town.
Yeah.
So that's stuff to watch out there on the best coast, is what Jeremy calls it. But we're here on the East Coast and talking Yankees. And so we hope you enjoyed this little quick snippet here to talk about Judge and all of that here at Think Tank Sports. We're happy to talk about the Yankees, of course, but we are here at Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen as we strive for five.